basis of nationalism has to be an inward approach that takes care of the ego. The Constitution must say that the state exists to uplift its citizens internally. Obviously, internal upliftment would require conducive external conditions. To that extent, the physical world has to be taken care of. You cannot say you want to address somebody's ego problem without taking care of his or her environment. You'll have to take care of education, health, media. You'll have to protect the genuine interests of the various groups of citizens as they exist, no? And then you will say, ultimately, everything has to boil down to the pure self. Yes, there is the legislature, there is the executive, there is the judiciary. All these would function. There is the media, there are the laws and the sub-laws, there are the various houses of the parliament, there is a federal structure, all that is there. But the purpose of all that has to be the inner freedom of the individual. That's the proper nation, in which everything functions with the purpose of liberating the individual. Now, is that not a worthy goal? Should not the nation be founded on that basis? Yes. So that's the kind of nationalism you have to bring to the new generation. Are you getting it? If you bring the militant kind of nationalism to the new generation, you're not doing them any good. When you talk of freedom fighters, you must talk of those who strove for political freedom. Equally, you have to talk of those who strove for inner freedom. Otherwise, it becomes just a case of one people fighting the other people out of hatred, resistance, and otherness. And that leads to a lot of falseness, artificiality. Then you have to ignore the facts, you have to rewrite history, you have to weave narratives, you have to somehow manage to cast imagination as facts, and all that is quite childish and funny, right? Except for the fact that it can lead to terrible consequences. So, bring the reality of life to the young. The reality of life as we live it, as we see it, is the reality of the ego. If they can see how the inner thing operates, they will also see its futility. Are you getting it? You don't need to then teach nationalism as something separate from life. If they can see how life is founded on division and strife and suffering, then they'll want to end it, right? And when men get together in their common mission of ending suffering, a noble nation is born. Don't you want that kind of nation? People are getting together so that they can together eliminate the suffering of mankind. And since they are getting together, they constitute a nation. Will that not be a very, very noble and desirable nation? Please tell me. Yes? Or would you want people to get together to pelt stones on some other group? Is that the kind of nationalism that you want? It could be stones when it comes to small groups, and it becomes missiles when it comes to large and powerful groups, right? 20 people on one side pelt stones on 20 people on the other side. And when these 20 people become a nation of 20 crore people, then they pelt missiles on the other 20 crore people, right?